Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another Battle to the Death for you. Today we have the Zero Tolerance 0609 versus the Zero Tolerance 0470. Why am I doing comparison on these two? Well, they're both in ZT's kind of new range of more EDC friendly knives. They've done a few in the past, but they seem to be doing a lot more, and I'm happy about that. I like Zero Tolerance knives, and some of them are a bit big and beefy to carry around. Some of them apply too much to that, overbuilt in the USA kind of thing that they put on their box, where now they're doing some more slim, light carry knives, and these are both fit in that category. Also, they're both collaborations. The 0609 is an RJ Martin design. The 0470 is a Dmitry Sinkovich design, kind of a blown up fancy pants version of the Kershaw Atmos that came out earlier this year that made my list of best budget knives of 2018 that just came out a little bit back. And they're both really cool. And also, kind of a unique thing, I own both of these. Neither of these are loaners or anything. And I myself am unsure of which one I'm going to keep. After the first of the year, I'm going to be selling off some stuff, and it's probably one of these two. Hopefully, this little comparison helps me decide which one. We'll see if it does or not. So let's get into it and talk about how this works. We do 7 categories. We have design and aesthetics, quality, blade, ergonomics, carry, deployment. They're both D words, and value. And then I'm going to add it all up. We'll pick a winner, and we'll see what happens from there. But first of all, let's do some stats so you guys have somewhat idea of these. The sizes and all that stuff. We have an overall length of 7.8 inches. This is the 0470. Blade length of 3.4 inches. Blade thickness of 0.12 inches. Handle thickness of 0.48. And a weight, according to my scales, of 3.2 ounces. Now, the 0609. Page 2. We have an overall length of 7.4 inches, a blade length again of 3.4 inches, blade thickness again of 0.12 inches, handle thickness of 0.46, so basically the same and a lot of stats. A bit heavier though, 3.6 ounces is what I bring this in at on my scales. All right, now got those stats out of the way. Let's get into the scoreable categories. Design and aesthetics. I like the look of both of these, but I think the 0470 is just sexy as hell. I do have to admit, Sinkovich is. I always like his designs a whole lot, and this one is no exception. It's a very pretty knife. The 0609 is fine. I don't mind it at all. This is the bronze, the standard production bronze one, the one you can get right now. They did have some sprint runs of this. This has been out a little bit longer, so they've already done some sprints. I do believe those are all gone now. I haven't really looked, but I think they are. You could get like an all blacked out version. You could get a blue version, and I'm sure there'll be more. Those came with S35 VN instead of 20 CV. Yeah, they downgrade the steel on their sprints now, which I don't know. Well, that's a whole other subject for another day. But anywho, I like the look of the bronze. It's held up pretty darn well, I have to say. Mine has one scratch on it, and I can't find it, but it's because I dropped it, and so that's on me. But I carry this quite a bit, and it's held up really well. I really like the look of it. I don't have it on it at the moment, but you can get an aftermarket clip that's bronze that matches it from MXG Gear, and that makes it look even better. But it's a good-looking knife, but some people don't like the chevrons. The pattern on here, I call it the chevron pattern. Some people really seem to hate that. I don't mind it at all. This is a derivative of another RJ Martin knife that they made before. This is kind of a shrunk-down version of that. I don't remember the number of it right now, but they're long since gone, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I like the look of it fine, but the 0470 is just gorgeous. I mean, we'll start out with the lesser factors and then get to the big one. I love all the milling on this. They've done so much milling on the the scales. It looks good. They both have, by the way, this too, but they both have. I love the finish that ZT is using now. This kind of machined satin finish. I really like it. I think it looks very classy yet purposeful. It's not going to scratch up a whole lot or anything. But the main party piece has got to be that carbon, though. Look at that, man. That marbled carbon is just so nice on this. And yeah, it does come off pretty easy if you wanted to replace it with something else. If you're a psychopath, you can do that. But I love the way it looks. I think it's very pretty. Not a fan of. I wish that the backspacer was that same marble carbon. That would be cool. It's just aluminum, and I'm not in love with the way this pocket clip looks. But other than that, oh man, this thing is just a pretty knife. I really do like it. Even my wife, who doesn't like knives, I took this out the other day to cut something and set it down, and she was like, "Oh, that looks very expensive." I mean, it is $240. Ain't cheap, but it looks even more expensive than that. It's a very very gorgeous knife. Next up, quality. Well, these are both built in the same place, both roughly the same price. So unsurprisingly here, I'm just going to say tie. I have no issues with either of them. The detent on this I felt was a little bit weak at first, but it broke in. I felt the detent on this was a little strong at first, but it broke in. So even Stevens there. Unfortunately, nowadays, in the current climate, on every ZT video I do, to stop you guys from jumping on the comments and saying, but does the lock fail? No, it doesn't fail. It's fine on both of these. I'm aware of the video that talks about ZT locks failing. I've had not a ton, but I've had like 5 or 6. Man, it's never been a problem for me. Never had one do that. And no, I don't, because don't spine thwack your knives. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Next up, we have the blade. This one was kind of close because they both have the same exact blade thickness. They're both 20 CV steel, which is about as darn good as you can get these days. It's basically an analog to M390, so it's excellent. Both about the same thickness behind the edge, about 22 thousandths, 23 thousandths behind the edge, depending on where you measure it on these two. Both came razor sharp out of the box. ZT is killing it with that this year. The few ZTs I've got my hands on this year is these two, and then I had a loaner and my 0393, and I had, so 4 I think this year I tested, and all of them just came razor sharp out of the box, and these both are the same. They're so good. They're just really sharp. I am going to give the win though to the 0609. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons. Mostly because first of all, it's a higher. They're both flat grinds, and this is a higher flat grind, so it's going to be a microscopically bigger, or better slicer. But the primary reason is the sharpening choil on the 0609 is very well done, where on the 0470 it's kind of meh. You're still getting it's barely missing that plunge, if it even fully is. I'm not sure it even really fully is. Yeah, so I got to give it to the 0609 for those 2 small reasons, but both have great blades. I'm pretty happy with both of them. Tips on them are both roughly the same. Yeah, they're about the same, like, robustness as far as the tips go. So just those 2 little reasons. That's why I'm going to give the edge to the 0609. Now, ergonomics. This one was hard. I literally sat here last night watching other people's YouTube videos and just picking these up, holding my hand, putting them down, and really debating this. Because they're both pretty darn good ergonomically, honestly. But in the end, I mean, God, I must sit here for half an hour. If somebody looked at me through my window, they would have thought I was a psychopath. But in the end, I have to give it another slight win to the 0609. It's it has these finger grooves, which if they don't hit your hands, they don't hit your hands, and that's going to be bad. But they hit my hands really well. I like the jimping on this. I'm not in love with it. It could be a bit, not sharper, but more conventional jimping. They kind of went with this weird step jimping, which works pretty good. But it's not as nice as the jimping on the 0470 though. It's really good on that. But I do like this little thumb ramp up here. That works really well. Someone's gonna say it's not a thumb ramp. I know, but I don't know what the hell to call it. And the little chevron pattern does give you a bit more grip. So, and as I said, the little finger grooves hit my hands perfectly. So I have to give the edge for me to the 0609. Nothing wrong with the 0470. It's still really good. And as I said, I really do like the jimping on it. It's perfectly placed and it's just enough, and it doesn't detract from the gentlemanliness of the knife. So good job on this too, but I have to give a slight edge in the hand to the 0609. Now, when it comes to carry, this one's pretty easy. And again, it's not this whole thing is a game of inches because they're both similar in a whole lot of ways. But it's still a pretty easy win to the 0470 just because simply it's thinner in the pocket. They're both not that far off in weight. Yes, this is 0.4 ounces heavier, but God, I'm sorry about my throat today. If you can tell the difference, if you can tell 0.4 ounces when it's in your pocket, then I don't know, you're some kind of clairvoyant something or other and should be on a very boring game show. I can't, but it's just the height of them. This is the 0470 is thinner, much smaller flipper tab. That's why. And they're both, about the same handle thickness, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just because this is thinner. Now, deployment-wise, as I said before, the 0470, when I first got it, I thought the detent was a bit weak. They said that in the review. The more I've played with it, the more it's broken in. It's gotten a bit stronger. And the 0609, I thought was a bit strong. And as I had it, it broke in more. And now they're both fairly equal as far as how they come out, but the 0609 is just that little bit snappier, and it's something I know exactly what it is. It's because of the carbon insert on here. The 0470 just doesn't have that ZT bang that you want. It just doesn't have the bang. I like the bang, and it doesn't really have it. It's fine. It works great. It's fairly fall shutty. It's very fall shutty, actually. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't have that bang that I like out of a ZT. And I know it's because of the carbon, and carbon, both deadens and transmits sound. And that's all it is. Where the 0609 is definitely every bit a ZT action. Snap. I just love that sound. It's almost exactly the same in its false shuttiness factor. Yeah, got to give it to the 0609. I just have to for deployment. Now for value, this is going to take a minute. So, 240 versus 220, but is the 0609 220? No, it isn't. If you want to take it apart, you got to spend another $15 to $20, depending on where you get it, for this lovely little tool, the Kershaw or KAI Kershaw STP tool. I think it comes in a Kershaw box. It's a nice tool, magnets together, all that kind of stuff. But it's got proprietary pivot hardware, which looks pretty. I really like the look of the this nice chromy see-through pivot. See, you see through it. Hence the catchy name. But it's annoying that you have to buy the tool. It doesn't make me as mad as it makes some people. It really infuriates some people. It infuriated me earlier this year when it took 5 months to get it after the knife came out. That wasn't a good thing. But now both are available, so I can leave that alone. But still, yeah, you have to buy the tool. And I think so really they're pretty much the same price when it comes down to brass tacks. And this has that beautiful carbon inlay on the 0470. I have to give the edge value wise to the 0470. I think it's just prettier for what comes down to basically the same price. And again, this is a very, very close one. And none of these are blowaways except for maybe the design and aesthetic thing. So what does that leave us score-wise? Where are we at? We have 3-3 with one tie. But one of the wins for the 0470 was value, which I always say is the tiebreaker. So I'm going to say the winner by stats is 0470. Now, where does that leave me? Which one of these am I going to keep? I don't freaking know. I have no idea. I didn't ever see a way that I'd need both of these. And now I'm kind of thinking I do, and I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm a knife addict, so it's a hard thing. There may be like a coin flip in early January for me personally, but yeah, there are things I still love about the 0609. I'm getting over being mad at it about the needing to get the pivot tool and waiting 5 months, but this is just so pretty. But the action doesn't make me want to flip and play with it, so because it doesn't make the noises that satisfy me. Yeah, so I don't know, but they're both excellent EDC options. You should really, if you're debating on either one of them, I recommend either one of them. I think they're both great. But yeah, I still haven't quite made a personal decision. But by the scores, the 0470. So I hope you guys are as confused as I am by all of this, and I hope you guys have had a good day and will continue to. I've been Brian. Have a nice one.